What is up, everybody? Welcome in. Happy Red Friday to all of you. It is Red Friday indeed. We've got a lot to get into here, so come on in. Let's chill. Let's chat. Let's have some fun. Let's have some fun. A lot of things to get into here today. Let me just quickly go over the list of things we'll discuss on today's episode of the Red Friday live chat. First, we'll talk about the future of the Chiefs and Royals. Where will the Chiefs play? Where will the Royals play? What is going on with all of that? Because there is a lot of discussion about that going on this week. It is certainly a big topic of discussion. There are a lot of reactions to that. Already you're hearing about other cities trying to inquire about the Chiefs and the Royals. So definitely gotta get into that and discuss the situation there. Rashee Rice, the updates continue to get worse. None of it is helping his case so far. None of it is. I know a lot of people are saying, well, let's wait on the facts. He was not there. He was not driving. Well, all those people who keep, trying to give him the benefit of the doubt in every single angle, it's just not aging well, unfortunately. I don't want him to get in trouble either, but we have to kind of just look at reality and understand that this guy might see he might miss some time with Kansas City. The Chiefs did re-sign Mike Danna about an hour ago. Some good news there. We'll talk about that. The Stephon Diggs trade to Houston, that's definitely big, and I think Houston could be the biggest threat to Kansas City. And there's actually a really funny angle with that trade involving Kansas City. So that is worth getting into as well. And plus, the Chargers are interested in Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Yeah, the Chargers are interested in a Chiefs wide receiver, former Chiefs wide receiver. That's interesting. Yeah. MVS to the Chargers. Watch him be terrible in every game, and then he just goes off against the Chiefs. That would happen. That would be the most Chiefs thing ever to happen, indeed. But anyway, let's start with the stadium vote. By the way, for those of you coming in, I appreciate you guys watching live on Facebook and YouTube. This is essentially your guys' live stream. So comment below, ask whatever questions you want to ask. And if you guys could, if you're on Facebook, give this a thumbs up or a heart reaction, whatever. If you're on YouTube, give it a thumbs up. Would greatly appreciate that as well. Whatever questions you guys have, whatever's on your mind, comment below. Let me know your thoughts, and I will get to all of your guys' questions today. Every question will be read. So I do intend on making this somewhat short tonight. And not really conducive to the amount of topics we got going on. So a little time to waste. Let's jump right into it. The Chiefs and the Royals, you guys all know the story. The Chiefs and Royals, they got shellacked with the vote on Tuesday, and deservedly so. I mean, come on. It was a terrible campaign. The Chiefs, their upgrades, their sales pitch was extremely underwhelming. And the Royals provided zero logistics for this whole thing. I mean, okay, you're going to put a stadium downtown, and you're essentially going to replace all these businesses at the crossroads or just south of the T-Mobile Center. But how are you going to make that work? What's going to happen with the businesses? Where's parking going to be? How are you going to navigate? How are you going to manage traffic in that area? Because it's already crazy. It's already a cluster when you have an event at T-Mobile Center, a big event at PNL, at Bartle Hall, not too far. I mean, yeah, it's close to the highway, but a lot of people still come close to the T-Mobile Center side for parking. So how are you going to make all of that work? And the Royals did not answer any of those questions, and neither did the Chiefs. The Chiefs did not answer any of their questions as well that people had for them. And to me, it's like, why? Here's the thing. If you guys are voting in your local elections, if there's a governor that is running or a mayor who wants to be elected, if they just tell you, hey, I'm not going to share all of my policies with you, but I'll tell you that I'm going to be a great mayor or a great governor, and I'm asking for your vote. Just give me your vote, and trust me, I'll do everything you want, but you just give me your vote. This is what the Chiefs did. They were like, yeah, you guys are going to vote yes, right? Because we have the Independence Chamber of Commerce. They're endorsing us. Look at our players in these commercials. They're endorsing us. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. Yeah, they're endorsing us. Come on, vote yes. Here's a problem. When you used Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Salvador Perez, 3 athletes who everyone in this town loves, and you can't get the vote your way, you fumbled big time. The Chiefs led the NFL in drops this year, or this past year. This was their biggest drop of the season, 1,000%. I mean, listen, I'm not saying, Taylor Swift and Eric Stonestreet would have been great endorsements. I think T Swift would have definitely asked for a lot of a really big bag of money. Stonestreet is part owner of the Royals. I'm surprised he never said anything on this. So what's going on? What's the latest here? So John Sherman's wife went on Facebook, and she didn't necessarily lash out at Jackson County, but she basically served as a spokesperson for the Chiefs and Royals and said that neither team will work with Jackson County ever again. Meanwhile, the mayor, Quentin Lucas, he wrote a tweet today saying that he wanted to thank John Sherman for a productive conversation the other day and looks to keep the Royals and the Chiefs. He's committed to keeping them in Kansas City is what he was trying to say. Look, the mayor is not free of criticism here. This is not his campaign. He's not the one that put together this, the ideas and everything, but he has been pushing the idea of a downtown ballpark for quite some time. And I was watching his live stream about a week or two ago, and he was asked about the whole Crossroads conflict because the businesses at the Crossroads claimed that they never got any communication with the Royals because the Royals claimed that the businesses they would be replacing, that they were already talking to the business owners there, and the business owners there claimed that was not the case. And John Sherman never answered for those things. Like whatever town hall they did, they weren't answering questions. And who was their audience? Were they talking to people who lived in Jackson County even? I mean, I don't even know, because there's talk out there that was not the case. This was just a terrible marketing strategy from the get-go. And I don't know who's at fault specifically, but this was just awful. You deserved that no vote hit in your face. Quite honestly, you're very lucky it was 58 to 42%. It should have been more because everyone's calling this a blowout, and it was. It should have been more towards no. Listen, I would have voted no for the same reasons I'm giving you guys, because they didn't give a reason for people to vote yes, other than, hey, keep us here in Jackson County, because if not, we're moving. At least that's what Mark Donovan was trying to say. And then they cleared up the whole idea that the comment was a threat. But that didn't work very well for him. By the way, I see a lot of people coming into the chat. I appreciate all of you guys. Give it a like if you're on YouTube and Facebook. Greatly appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, any comments, whatever's on your mind, please let me know, because this is the Red Friday live chat is all about you guys. So let me know in the comments what questions you have, because this is, I will say this. I try to read comments. I don't read a lot of them. I will say this week on my Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, I've been following comments very closely on this. A lot of people are talking. A lot of people are talking about this. There are a lot of people on the Kansas side that really want the Chiefs and Royals. Because here's the thing. By the way, to finish my thought about the mayor, I forgot, I was going down some rabbit holes there. The mayor, he endorsed the yes vote, but in the live stream he admitted that he was not aware of the conflict and lack of communication between the Crossroads businesses and John Sherman and the Royals. Why are you endorsing something then? And then not only does he endorse this, 12 hours, or not 12, less than 24 hours later, he goes on KMBZ radio and he admits all the faults in the campaign. So you were aware of all of the flaws in this campaign. You were completely aware that there was lack of clarity and a lack of connecting with Jackson County voters on this. He acknowledged that in that interview. But you endorse this. Why? Listen, I know a lot of times for like presidential elections, you see, like obviously Donald Trump knows a lot of celebrities. He gets a lot of endorsements from big name people that he knows. Well, that's because he's friends with them. They're just going to endorse him no matter what. They might not be able to tell you all of his specific policies, but they'll do it no matter what anyway. And I get Quentin Lucas. His whole goal is keep them in Jackson County. We don't want to lose them to Wyandotte or North Casey or Johnson County. I get that. But endorsing something and then less than 24 hours later, when you lose the vote, you admit to all these faults here. It's not a good look for you. It's really not. And by the way, I don't know all the details, but a lot of people said that that in Jackson County, property taxes have gone up and people have had to wait hours and hours in line to be able to pay. KMBZ Radio had callers saying that they waited 4 to 5 hours in line. I mean, that's essentially half of your workday. So I don't know. I'm not too up to speed on that. I should be, but just taking everyone else's word for it, it doesn't seem like it's a good situation there. Where will the Chiefs go? So there was a former KMBC reporter who was on KMBC Channel 9 was on a former KMBC 9 TV reporter was on KMBZ Radio. That can get a little confusing, of course. I'm trying to pull up the reporter's name here because I don't want to get it wrong. Michael Mahoney. I'll be honest, I'm not familiar with Michael Mahoney, but Scott Parks, who hosts the Danna and Parks show, he kept saying that he is the best reporter that this town has ever seen. So I'll take his word for it. Now, here's the thing. Whenever a reporter or a journalist retires, yeah, sure, they might be retired from what they do. It doesn't mean that their connections just end right then and there. They're still talking to people. They're still, keeping up with everyone else around them because they still want to be in the know for things, whether they're working or not. So Michael Mahoney said that the state of Kansas has already gotten to work, essentially saying that they are working very hard and they've already been in communication with the Chiefs. Now, I am very certain that Clark Hunt has been receiving a lot of phone calls or emails from a lot of mayors out there. Obviously, the Dallas mayor, he is working very aggressively to bring the Chiefs back to Dallas, make it 1961 all over again. I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen. Here's what's crazy is, I mean, obviously 7 years from now, we don't know how teams are going to be, but how funny would it be if the Dallas Cowboys are the second best team in their city and the third best team in their state? I mean, who knows? Maybe Texas gets another team. They would be the fourth best in that state. Listen, I don't think the Chiefs are leaving. The Chiefs will stay in the Kansas City area. Let me just say this. I've been saying for a very long time, I think the Chiefs and I think the Royals as well, because as much as John Sherman, I know he's from Kansas City. He loves Kansas City and he wants the whole downtown stadium, the beauty of it, the aesthetics looks great. I get it, but you gotta think logistically about all of this. The situation the Chiefs have at the Truman Sports Complex, they've got a great parking lot there. I know traffic gets chaotic for Chiefs games, especially when they're good and they've got a big turnout. Every ticket sold, every ticket possible sold, but where else are you going to go? Where else do you go? I said this on the podcast on Tuesday. I know the Truman Sports Complex is located kind of in the middle of nowhere. If you're just driving on 435 or I-70, you're seeing literally a bunch of trees, some hills here and there. There's nothing exciting on the road, but all of a sudden you have that exit. It's kind of random. So yeah, it's not in the most luxurious looking place in the world, but it works. And I've said this for a long time too. If the Chiefs want to spend money, let's do it right. $800 million for a lot of underwhelming upgrades is not my idea of doing it right. Now, I'm just a guy here doing a live stream, so who cares what I have to say, right? I'm not the one with the money putting down, because Clark Hunt was willing to put down $300 million and he wanted Jackson County to pay for $500 million of it. But again, the upgrades were hardly upgrades at all. Yeah, the area that would replace Kaufman, the activity area, that looks cool. I like that. But the video boards, what upgrade do they need? The ride share area, I'm not really sure if that's necessary. The VIP entrances in different spots, the area where they're gonna take away some seats and put like some bar type tables, kind of like what Allegiant Stadium has behind one of their end zones. This isn't Vegas. This isn't, downtown LA. We don't want to take seats. Listen, you already took seats away for the drum deck, which, looks cool and all, but I don't know if it was worth taking away that many seats for that. I just don't. And now you have the whole proposal is bad. If you're gonna do anything, do it right. I know there's a lot of word out there that Clark Hunt, he's so emotionally attached to Chiefs traditions, and changing anything he just doesn't like it. So one comment he made last year, somebody was asking Clark Hunt about potentially doing alternate color jerseys, and he declined that idea because the red and white, those are the classic Chiefs jerseys. And then just recently he talked about wanting to stay at Arrowhead because that's what his father would want. So many times when he talks about the traditions and keeping the Chiefs and keeping certain things together, he talks about traditions that his father would like and appreciate. Listen, man, I 1000% respect the fact that his father's passed away and that he's trying really hard to keep his father's legacy, and whatever his father built, he wants to keep it right then and there. Part of me kind of wonders, is this laziness? Like, you just don't want to do a whole new project? Is that it? I mean, I don't know, because I'm sure, listen, you have a lot of money for it. You're not going to be the one physically building everything. You're going to have a construction team doing it for you. But listen, man, at some point, you just have to accept the fact that this is your team now. This is no longer your father's team. He passed away, and in his will, he gave you the most amount of control for the operations of this football team. So make this your thing. This is your baby now. Go out there and make something of it. Because if the Chiefs, now the big thing here is that the rumor out there is the Chiefs will never do a dome, because the part of it is Clark Hunt wants the January advantage. I get that. I guess the alternate to that is, why not a retractable roof? Well, if it's cold and you're going to leave the roof open, then what's the point? Which I agree with. Because here's the thing. If you do have a roof, and I get a retractable roof would cost a hell of a lot more money, but shit, man, you're a billionaire. I don't care. You're going to get Super Bowls. You're going to get Final Fours. You're going to get concerts from the biggest names out there. You're going to get WrestleManias, a lot of other major events that you can get if you do a domed stadium. But I guess Clark Hunt does not want an indoor stadium. So I don't know, man. You want to spend money? Okay, fine. Just make sure you're doing it right. By the way, there's some speculation out there that the Chiefs missed the film, so maybe they intentionally had some underwhelming proposals for these upgrades, and maybe they're ready to leave. I don't know about that. Listen, let me just say this. My prediction, and I've said this for a long time, even with the no vote winning, before that I even said this, the Chiefs and I think the Royals will stay in Jackson County, and they will stay at the Truman Sports Complex. Now, would I bet money on that right now? No, I would not, because we're at a place now where this whole idea of the Chiefs moving to Kansas, that is picking up a lot of steam. That is picking up a lot of steam. Yeah. Let me just say this about Laura Kelly. For those who don't know, Laura Kelly is the governor of Kansas. She is a Democrat, and she won not one but two terms in a state that is historically very conservative. So people do like Laura Kelly in the state of Kansas. If she can find a way to pull in the Chiefs, oh boy. She might be considered one of the best governors in the history of Kansas, and her legacy will go down as someone that did the unthinkable, winning two terms as a Democrat in Kansas and bringing the Chiefs to Kansas. Do I think it happens? No, but I'm not ruling her. I mean, she is going to fight for this. Listen, Kansas does have that sports gambling money. That is going to play a big factor here. A huge factor. You'd be silly to think that would not be the case. Kansas has some leverage right now. And obviously the big popular spot is, and I'm seeing in the comments from some of you, is Wyandotte County. So the Legends specifically, and I do agree, if the Chiefs are going to move anywhere, it's got to be that area. I said, when did the Legends area? Hold on, when did that open up? The Legends, Kansas City, Wikipedia. Because I want to say I was in high school when that area started to get big. April of 2006. Yeah, I was in high school. I was a freshman that year, in fact. Yeah, I remember my dad would take my brother and I a few times a year to Dave and Buster's in that area. There was also that big like dinosaur restaurant that reminded me a lot of Rainforest Cafe, but they changed it. It is something completely different now. So that is going to be a very interesting spot to have the Chiefs. If you guys go to like your map on your phone or on Google Earth, Google Maps, whatever, and if you guys look up Gillette Stadium, which is where the Patriots play, they are right next to a big shopping center, which looks a lot like the Legends. If you look at the St. Louis Cardinals Stadium, they are right next to a place called Ballpark Village. Ballpark Village is basically an indoor version of P&L, Power and Light. Very similar to it. Obviously, the T-Mobile Center is right next to P&L. That's a great venue right there. If you're going to a concert or you're going to a Big 12 tournament game or NCAA tournament, whatever is going on at T-Mobile Center, a lot of people will go eat and drink at P&L, and then they'll walk over to, it's a short walk to T-Mobile Center, and then there are some people who will go back, or maybe they don't go back, but they'll go to P&L after the event and will hang out, eat and drink there. So it is a nice place. I can understand why John Sherman wants to have the Royal Stadium there. Yeah, it looks cool. It sounds cool, but so many logistics there you got to figure out. All right, enough of me talking. I've done a lot of talking. It is time to read your guys' T-Rex Restaurant. Yeah, that's what I thought it was, or I can remember the name. Okay, thank you, Mario. All right, I'm going to your guys' comments. Going to go in order here. Dave is up first. Facts are facts on Rice. He's the one that created his problem. Another question comes from Rebecca asking, in your opinion, is Rice done? Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people debate this. I don't think Rashee Rice is done with the Chiefs. No. I responded to a lot of questions last night saying that he's not getting cut unless we find out that drugs or alcohol played a role in this. Unfortunately, we learned today from Dallas PD that in the Lamborghini that Rice was driving and two other friends were in that vehicle, there was marijuana in there. Now, listen, it's marijuana, it's weed. It's not like the worst thing in the world, except you have it with you and you're driving. Now, to be very, very clear, it is not quite determined if Rashee Rice was smoking any of it while driving. Listen, signs point to yes. Listen, you think the container was just sitting there, the 10.8 grams, and there it is right there. He just didn't happen to smoke it, but it's there. Come on. I think because people have been wanting to give him the benefit of the doubt, say that it wasn't him. Someone took the car, someone borrowed it. He wasn't there. The pictures were too fuzzy. You can't tell if it's him or not. He's not the driver. No, all the facts that have come out so far, and his attorney has admitted to some of this, not a very good look for Rashee Rice. You're racing on the highway. You had marijuana in the car. You fled the scene. It's not looking good, dude. It's not. Now, will he get cut with this little update here? I don't know if he's getting cut, but he is going to be facing a hefty suspension. I thought it was going to be anywhere from 4 to 6 games, maybe 8 games. I think you're looking at 6 to 8 games now. I really do. Now, the other question is, and I don't know if this comes up later on in the chat, but what do you do draft wise? What do you do? Listen, I think even before this incident, I think you were considering a wide receiver anyway. If Xavier Worthy is available, man, you cannot say no to him at all. You know, you gotta just you gotta think through everything here. The Tyreek Hill incident when the audio came out, that was very wild, the timing of it, because it happened right before the first round of the draft got underway. Now, the Chiefs did not have a first round draft pick that night, but the next day they drafted Mecole Hardman. That was their first pick. It was in the second round. At least right now, you do have a little bit of time to figure things out. Are we going to get an update on a suspension anytime soon? Probably not. Listen, you guys all know this just as well as I do. These legal issues, they take a while to investigate. And the NFL does not always wait for does not wait for the legal matter all the time. Sometimes they'll make their own decision and say, yeah, we'll just give this suspension. Sometimes they'll wait for the legal matter to be completed, and then they'll give a suspension. And listen, the timing of their suspensions can be weird. We saw it with Willie Gay and Frank Clark. That was just odd. In-season suspensions handed out. And sometimes, like, I think Sean Smith, the former quarterback for the Chiefs, when he had his DUI, I think we had to wait more than a year before we found out his punishment from the NFL. So, yeah, I mean, listen, you can't be making bad decisions like that. You just can't. And it's frustrating because the Chiefs have been dealing with a lot of those lately. Charlene says the Wyandotte County Chiefs are underway. I actually made a joke the other day saying that I can't wait for the Osawatomie Chiefs to win the Super Bowl in 2031. Dude, there were a lot of people from Osawatomie commenting. Maybe it's a bigger town than I initially realized. I just picked Osawatomie because it's so hard to pronounce that announcers are going to screw that up. I could have said Tonganoxie. I could have said Wakarusa. It's a little further out west, but oh well. Chris says Chiefs will get their money. Royals try tagging the Chiefs to get money. Yeah, I mean, the Royals were really wanting to team up with the Chiefs because the Chiefs are the ones that have all the success right now. The best team in football, back-to-back Super Bowls, reigning champs, 3 in 5 years, looking to be the first to three-peat, all of that riding on. And I saw John Sherman's wife say that she was kind of surprised that if the Chiefs have won 3 Super Bowls in 5 years and you can't support them, then why would you stay? See, this is what I hate, is that people think the vote was, do we want the Chiefs and Royals? That's not what the vote was about. Of course, every single person in Jackson County, even if you have no interest in the Chiefs and Royals, or if you're not a fan of the Chiefs and Royals and you're a fan of another team, I mean, for the sake of economics, you want them there. It does help your city from an economic standpoint. Sure, yeah, I mean, sales tax and all that stuff, I get that, but there's a lot of people talking about how if they go on to Johnson County or Wyandotte County, North KC, then Clay County, essentially, then yeah, that would be a negative economic impact on Jackson County. By the way, let me just say this real quickly, because I'm seeing people bring up Johnson County. Where in the hell are you going in Johnson County? The Great Mall area? I've seen people bring that up, but that is way too far south. way too far south. Blue Hawk, way too south. You gotta like stay within the 435 loop, because the nice part about the Chiefs and Royals right now is they're right next to I-70 and 435. So when people are coming in or leaving, they have multiple exit. They have multiple options for where they want to go, depending where they live, of course. So I don't know. KC Mayor said the sports teams will be in KC past 2040. I did see that, Steven. Now, is he saying KC area? Obviously, he's referring to his own city, Kansas City, Missouri. But I mean, what do you want him to say? Like they're going to leave? It's almost like a UFC fighter getting ready for the biggest fight of his life. He's fighting the champion who's never lost a fight. What is that fighter going to say? Oh man, I can't beat this person. He's undefeated. No. Of course, you're going to encourage that. You want to keep the teams here. That's Mayor Quentin Lucas right now is getting to work, trying everything after this failed vote to keep the teams here. It's going to be an uphill battle for him. I think he's going to come out as the victor in this one, but it's not going to be easy. Laura Kelly is going to fight for this team. And by the way, I saw someone mention, is the state of Missouri gonna how hard will the state of Missouri fight, because they lost the Rams already from St. Louis to LA, and they went to a Super Bowl, lost that one. A couple of years later they went back and they won that one. So it's one of those things where I get it, it's not a good look for the state, and Kansas doesn't care about that. They want, I guess there was like a border war truce that they would not go after businesses, which I find it interesting. Laura Kelly does not care. She wants the Chiefs. She said that in the agreement, the Chiefs were not a part of that. So have at it, Laura Kelly. You do you. Kansas has 5 million. You meant billion. Yeah. That gambling money helps. No, Ken, it is not. It is not. Not at all. Logan says those plans for the stadium were complete slaps in the face. I agree. This is an Oprah and The Rock situation. Rich asking the poor for money. I mean, they just wanted you to listen to them. They wanted everyone to be yes men and to just vote yes. Literally yes. Doesn't work like that, man. Again, like, if there's someone running for president, someone running for governor, someone running for mayor, you want to hear their policies. And if you really care about this person running for president or governor or mayor, now generally they don't do this for presidential candidates, but for a governor that wants to run or a mayor that wants to run, they'll go to places and they'll talk to people. So yeah, I mean, you gotta listen to your people, man. And the Chiefs and Royals didn't. They just didn't. Chris says, if we lose Rice, what would the Chiefs' next move be? I mentioned this on Tuesday or Sunday, rather. You got to look at a lot of options right now. Tyler Boyd seems to be the top wide receiver free agent right now. I know Odell Beckham Jr., his best years may be behind him, but you kind of have to look in that direction right now. I know a lot of Chiefs fans have not been interested in OBJ, but hypothetically, and I know you're saying if, Chris, so I'm acknowledging that part of your comment. You gotta be ready for anything and everything here. Even with a potential 8-game suspension, I think you got to consider those names I mentioned, as well as a draft pick. Keep the stadiums where they're at. Yeah, Urban, a lot of people are saying that as well. Here's my thing, and I'll get to your comment in a second, Fiso. There are a lot of, I don't understand the argument about who do the Chiefs belong to, Kansas or Missouri? No, they're Kansas, no, Missouri. Who cares? Okay, maybe there are more fans from the Kansas side, but there's a strong contingency of fans from both sides. You have fan bases from both states that love the team, and they're in the state of Missouri physically. Like, this is not difficult. And I've seen in the past people say, oh, if they ever go to Kansas, I will never support them again. Really? Who are you going to root for? The fucking Raiders? Come on. Like, grow up. If they're still playing at a high level, you will absolutely keep rooting for them, no matter where they go. Now, if they leave the Kansas City area completely, that's a different story. And I'm seeing a lot of people say, that live in Jackson County. I've just seen it online. People are saying, I'd rather they go to the Kansas side than leave the area completely. That's kind of where we're at right now. I mean, there are a lot of people that don't care about the economic part of it at all. And they just want the team to stay in the metro area somewhere. Doesn't matter where. Could be Lewisburg. I mean, that's not the ideal spot, but if that's where they go, shit, man, better than going to Dallas or anywhere else. Mark Donovan should have not threatened people if they won't pass the tax. And now Clark Hunt didn't like that this tax didn't pass. Well, Mr. Hunt followed through on your words, just to, like you tell your players that you're going to renovate their locker room. That's what you get. And F- for worst owner. How low? This has not been a good offseason for Clark Hunt. I mean, he should be, wheeling and dealing, enjoying his luxurious lifestyle, getting ready for that another Super Bowl ring to show off. Because word is he loves to show off those rings. This has not been a good year for Clark Hunt at all. Remodel both stadiums, leave them where they at because they're both historical sites. Yeah, Talisha, I get that. Again, the emotional attachment, I get it. But listen, the Chiefs play the Raiders and Chargers twice a year, so they visit SoFi and Allegiant. I've been to Allegiant a couple of times. It's a beautiful stadium. It's a great stadium. I'm sure SoFi is just as great. You gotta get with the times. And I don't know how much Clark Hunt or the leaders of the city care about. When I say the city, I'm talking the metro area as a whole. I know it would only help the specific city where the stadium is at, but if you want to host a Super Bowl and Final Fours and all these other major events I mentioned earlier, you gotta consider an indoor stadium. You just have to. I heard the Royals could move to Nashville. Is this true? It is a possibility, Chris. That is that is up there. A different Chris says players have already debunked this. They said Hunt never said he'd renovate the locker room. I have not seen that. So I don't know. So I mean, why did he get an F- then? That's my question. Our downtown is too small for a stadium. I agree with this. The stadiums look so beautiful side by side. Yeah, it is pretty cool. Like whenever you watch Monday Night Football or whenever ESPN is doing like a national baseball broadcast from Kauffman, they will take the time to do an aerial shot and show both of the stadiums. I think I remember during the wild card game, which was a historic moment because it was the first playoff game in 29 years for Kansas City. Arrowhead did put like a little sign in their stadium. I don't remember what it was, but it was basically, taking part in the fun of the baseball wildcard game. And they showed that in the aerial shot for ESPN or whatever network it was that aired the game. One player that's not with the Chiefs anymore. Oh, you're referring to Rice? Yeah, I've seen some people say that. I don't think he's gone. Has Mike's contract come out? Yeah. Oh, you're talking about Mike Danna. Yes. This is actually a very friendly contract for the Chiefs. So the contract, according to Mike Garfolo of NFL Network, it is a 3-year deal worth $24 million, including $13 million guaranteed. That is a damn good deal for Mike Danna. And apparently there were a lot of people that were trying to get Mike Danna. A lot of teams were interested in Mike Danna. So good that he's back. And, when you look at the defensive line, you have, and I'm not going in any particular order here, just the names that come to mind right away. You have Karlaftis, you have Chris Jones, Mike Danna, Charles Omenihu. We don't know exactly when he will be ready as he's recovering from his torn ACL injury. You have a lot of defensive tackles back. Mike Pinello's back. Derek Nottie is back. Two guys that are really good against the run. Tershawn Wharton still a part of this defensive line. And there's been some speculation that the Chiefs might draft a defensive tackle in one of the first 2 rounds. And there are some good defensive tackles out there they could go after. I think Dwayne Carter is a name from Duke, I think, who would fit this defense really well. You've got some, man, if you do that, that would really make up for the loss of L'Jarius Sneed. I still think you've got good depth at the quarterback position, but man, if you have a strong defensive front, that will help reduce the stress of losing L'Jarius Sneed 100%. Listen, defensive backs are great. and they take away one great defensive back can only take away one great pass catcher. I was about to say receiver, but tight ends too. But a great defensive line can help nullify all of those great pass catchers. 100%. I'll read a few more here. Tradition is so important. Arrowhead is everything. I'm having a hard time with all of this talk. Yeah, I get that. I 100% get that. Listen, we all have emotional attachments to something. I was listening to the Dave Ramsey radio show, and there was a woman who called and said, when is it a good time to get rid of my Tahoe and get a new car? And he asked how many miles you have on it, and she said 130,000. It's like, damn, that's a lot. And immediately Dave Ramsey goes, you've had a lot of great memories in that car. It's like, yeah, even things like that. You have those emotional attachments. Okay, Chris is saying that ticked me off if the Chiefs went to Kansas. Della says that would piss me off. Susan says I would love it. That ticked me off that I think they should do a parade at the stadium. Well, I don't know about the parade part. But so a question to those who would be pissed off if they went to Kansas. Why? I mean, again, I get it from an economic standpoint. It would be bad for Jackson County, and I assume the people commenting are from Jackson County, but the team will still be here. I mean, look, if people from the Kansas side can support the Chiefs, if the Chiefs go to go to Kansas, why can't the people from Missouri do the same thing? Like, this whole Kansas, Missouri fight is so weird to me, man. I don't get it. It's like, we're one big metro area. We all love our barbecue. Okay, we might be divided politically. We're literally divided by a state line, by a river. But, we all love our barbecue. We love our teams. We love good things. Like, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. Farzine, since you brought that up, it makes perfect sense why Clark Hunt is balking. He feels like he's letting down his dad's legacy by making changes to what his dad put into place. The best way to keep his dad's true legacy in place is to lean into the changes needed to update it all. Even if it financially stings the organization financially. Yeah, it's just, and again, I respect that so much, man. Like, my family's important to me. I respect that, but it's your team now. It's all yours. You got to do what you got to do. Do what Clark Hunt wants. That's just the way how I feel about it. Does anyone else feel like our time to celebrate the Super Bowl win was robbed because of the raggedy folks who were shooting at the parade? Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, here's the weird thing too. Like, the shooting was talked about, but it kind of just went away. Unfortunately, the more these tragedies happen in our country, it just feels like we quickly move on from them pretty quickly. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, we haven't forgotten about what happened. Like, Harrison Butker recently talked about the incident in a podcast and all of that, but I don't know. It's just like a week later, it just kind of felt like no one, I don't want to say no one cared, but no one was really making a big deal about it anymore. The national media, they moved on from it pretty quickly. Now, if there had been more deaths, God forbid, thank God that was not the case. Maybe it would still be a topic of conversation for a couple of weeks, but I don't know. I'll read a few more here. Matthew says Kansas City is an excellent NFL market with a deeply committed fan base. This is true that any sensible owner would be reluctant to abandon. In addition, television revenues in the NFL are equally shared among all teams, meaning that even a relatively small market team like the Chiefs can afford to pay top dollar to keep the best players like Patrick Mahomes and tight end Taylor Swift. Boo, Travis Kelce. Yeah, I mean, listen, obviously, like, this is the golden era of Chiefs football right now. And even, like, I said that a year ago, and now it's like an even bigger deal because of the whole Taylor Swift thing. Which, you didn't think after last year it could have been any bigger. Well, shit, man, I was wrong. Yeah, I mean, you have so much going for you on the field with the Chiefs, and obviously off the field as well, even with all these troubling issues. Whenever you see Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift out and about, it's a big deal. Everyone's talking about it. And by the way, I love when Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are not hanging out with each other, and it's like a headline on TMZ. Like, come on, who cares? But yeah, it's you do make a good point though about this being a great city, a great fan base. I mean, Dallas has a big stadium, but are they considered the loudest in the NFL? No. And I know the record doesn't really, I guess they don't qualify because they're indoors. So only outdoor stadiums can qualify to be the loudest in the NFL or whatever. But yeah, I mean, the Chiefs are very proud of the 142.2 record. I mean, prior to all the Patrick Mahomes success, that was like the one thing that the Chiefs organization and this fan base latched onto, is that we're the loudest and most passionate fans in the NFL. Now you keep bragging about that in addition to all these trophies that are just filling up at a good old One Arrowhead Drive. Yeah, I mean, there are a few different comments in response to Rashee Rice. Yeah, I mean, there's some he's going to face some trouble both legally and with the NFL. I mean, that's all coming. Rice gets 4 games or so. Kamara got 6 for beating the hell out of someone. If Rice gets more than that, something is wrong. Yeah, but Chris, I'll go back to what I said earlier. The NFL is so inconsistent with these things. So I don't know. I mean, because I guess the other thing is, what could have happened? Because this is not too different from the Andy or Britt Reed and the Henry Ruggs situations. Fortunately, that there were no serious injuries or deaths in this one, but this involved more people, more cars. And you got to be very fortunate, man, if you're Rashee. This has to be the biggest wake-up call, not just to Rashee Rice, but to everybody that's in the NFL right now or that wants to play in the NFL. Like, you got to start, whenever these players get drafted, start saying names. Say, hey, you better not get in trouble. Look what Britt Reed did. Look what Henry Ruggs did. Look what Rashee Rice did. 2 of the 3 were terrible endings. I mean, come on. You got to start, because I don't know, like, they don't have the rookie symposium anymore, which teaches these kinds of things. Clearly that didn't work because players were still getting in trouble anyway. They should stay in Missouri. Why are they thinking about Kansas? Because the stadiums are very old. That's one reason why. And they just, I mean, there are several reasons. I think part of it is, maybe Clark Hunt does want a change of scenery in the metro area. Doesn't Patrick Mahomes have investment in the Royals? Yes, he does. But I don't know, like, from a business standpoint, what he really, really does. I think part of it is just, hey, look, we have a big name that's part of our ownership group. Same with Eric Stonestreet. I'm sure they're in the know of the business moves that are happening, but I don't think they're like contributing to conversations of these big changes. Kansas is a lot safer than Missouri. I see a lot of people say this, and I guess statistically that is true, but is there really a safe place at the end of the day? I remember when I was in high school, so like 07, 08, around that time, there was a list that came out on Yahoo of like the top 100 safest cities in the country, and Overland Park was number 5. Olathe was like around like the teens. Shawnee Mission was, or Shawnee rather, was in the 20s. So yeah, I guess the Kansas side is safer, but I don't know. Because I've heard a lot of people talk about, there are a lot of homeless people downtown, and they would not be good for the Royals if they went there. And listen, I don't know about that part. There are homeless people everywhere, unfortunately. Sure, maybe more places and more in some places, yeah, sure, but in safety and all of that stuff, there's stuff that happened on the Kansas side, unfortunately, maybe not as much, but shit happens everywhere. By the way, I know no one's talking about this, but I do want to get into the Stephon Diggs trade. I think it's going to be great for Houston. I think they were already a big threat to Kansas City. I think they're an even bigger threat with Stephon Diggs. And that change of scenery will help for sure. But the big thing there is the Buffalo Bills. They the Buffalo Bills, they were willing to trade Stephon Diggs to any team. They were giving him permission to seek trades with any team, to talk to whatever team he wanted to talk to, except for the Chiefs. They were okay with the Jets, okay with the Patriots, the Dolphins, but not the Chiefs. Listen, I don't think they would send him to Miami of all places, because they've already got a lot of great players with their offense. But what do they call that? Oh yeah, rent free. No, I'm just kidding. I think that rent free thing is so stupid that people bring up. Yeah, look, is that not the greatest compliment ever from the Bills? That has to be the best compliment you can get. They're scared of you. The Bills can beat the Chiefs in the regular season. That's cool. The Chiefs own the Bills in the playoffs. Make whatever excuse you want. Oh, the Bills were inexperienced in 2020 when they went to the AFC title game. Oh, the snow in Cincinnati. Oh, the 13-second mistake. The kicker missed. Just accept the fact that you cannot beat Patrick Mahomes. And I'm saying this, I keep saying this, and I'll continue saying this. The Bills are lucky. They even had a chance to tie the game with Tyler Bass, because McCole Hardman doesn't fumble. Chiefs are up by 10 points in that one. So they were even lucky to have a chance to tie. 1,000%. Bills are hilarious for blocking Diggs from Jordan. Yeah, that was hilarious. Flat out hilarious. All right, I'm going to skip over some comments here because I do got to wrap up soon. He'll plead and pay the money out the nose, get probation, suspension, probably. Yeah, I don't get it. I'm glad I'm not the only one that thinks this. Can't do this to Arrowhead. Louder Stadium needs to say. I mean, listen, the venue's going to change, the location's going to change, but you're still going to have the same fans at the end of the day. Yes, I think Rashee Rice will still play this year. Will he get suspended this year? I don't know, probably, but I don't think it's going to be a full season. And again, when is the suspension coming? Excuse me, I don't know. The NFL is so inconsistent for all of these. We don't need to host a Super Bowl. Oh, okay. Some people, feel that way. I don't think we need to either, but I think it'd be great. It'd be very cool, for sure. I heard the Chiefs might come to St. Joseph. Is that true? St. Joseph is a very small market, and I know what a lot of people are going to say. Green Bay, Wisconsin. I mean, I guess Foxborough is technically small, but it's close to a big city. But then again, I guess St. Joseph is close to KC also. I don't think they're going to St. Joe. I don't think so. Yeah, a lot of people have the emotional attachment to Arrowhead, and I get that, man. I've got memories of that as well, and wish we still had Honey Badger. I mean, listen, I still wish we had Kareem Hunt, and I wish Marcus Peters stayed for a couple more years, all of that, but Chiefs are doing just fine without them. And here's the other thing too, Talisha, is, and I hope I'm saying your name right. The Chiefs have moved on from a lot of very good players here in Eric Fisher, Mitchell Schwartz, just to name a couple more, and they're still winning at the end of the day. The Patriots have moved on from a lot of great fan favorites in New England, but they still found a way to keep winning games. If Arrowhead goes, I want my seats as a souvenir. Yeah, I'm sure those will be available. 100%. I would be shocked if they don't make that an option. Kansas and Missouri have hated each other for years. It goes back to the Civil War. Yeah, I know, but man, it's 2024. Like, come on. I'm from Kansas. But where it's at, don't move it at all. No moving at all. Why can't stadiums be privately funded like SoFi? Many being taxed can never afford to go to a game. Yeah, I mean, this is a good point. There are a lot of people that have never gone to a game that, still care about their favorite sports teams. Now the part about SoFi, I did not know about the privately funded part. I would have to look into that, but that costs a lot of money. That and Allegiant costs a lot of money for sure. At this point, just remap the Kansas and Missouri state lines. Okay, that's one way to do it, I guess. Clark Hunt would want the stadium to stay right where it is, period. Yeah, I mean, he definitely wants that. Although I think you're referring to Lamar Hunt. Missouri has lost one NFL team, can't afford to lose. And I mentioned that earlier. That's kind of what I wonder is like, is Missouri going to try to fight hard for this now after losing the vote? Oh, come on, Caesar. Rashee Rice. I will say this. I would give up a left nut for Mitch Holthus to go, oh, Rashee Rice racing to the end zone, touchdown. Like, that'd be funny. Almost like when Gus Johnson said running away from cop speed. No, that's pretty funny. I have idea why don't. Oh, okay, this is a very interesting comment here. Go out and get their own team and call it the Kansas Backstabbers. Okay. Man, we're a little feisty Friday night for a Friday night. Patrick Mahomes is only 84 yards away from being the all-time. Is he really? What? Let me double check on that. I mean, I know people are going to say, oh, different era. Yeah, but still, to be 28 or whatever he is, like that is really, I mean, he has more Super Bowls than Peyton Manning, Eli Manning. Yeah. Oh no, that's single season. I was about to say, why is it at 5,000? Career leader. That's what I'm looking for. Are you sure he's that close? Shit, you are right, man. He is very close. Very close indeed. I did not realize that. Okay, well, we all know what record's going to be broken in week 1. We all know that. Caitlin Clark, baby. Go support her. Appreciate you guys tonight. See, that's what a lot of people are saying, Derek, but I think someone also mentioned in the comments that it's owned by Garmin now. So I guess that's out of the picture. Do you follow baseball? What sports do you follow in the Chiefs offseason? I'm a huge UFC fan, and I have not really been following the UFC very closely lately. I've been betting on a couple of UFC fights lately, and that's kind of made me like forcibly follow them a little more. Baseball, I don't follow very closely. I've been watching the Royals a little bit. I could not tell you, like, I'm just not up to speed on baseball. Funny little story here. Baseball is just the least sport. It's my least favorite sport. No disrespect. It's just, I'm not a baseball guy. When I was working for the student newspaper at KU, I was a football writer. And right before Christmas break, the editor and the assistant sports editor, they asked me if I could come and meet with them. I'm like, yeah, sure. Let's chat. And they go, because it was about the baseball, who was going to write about baseball for the student newspaper. And I did not apply for it. And they looked at me and they said, we want you to be our baseball writer. I was like, no. I told them, like right to their face, I said, I don't know shit about baseball. The terminology, all that stuff, I know nothing. I mean, I know home run, strikeout, like all that, left field, right field, like the numbers in accordance to like the positions, that stuff I know. But dude, I can't talk baseball. I just can't. And they were like, okay, we'll think about it. I'm like, okay. Because I never applied for it. There were a lot of other students that applied for it. And they really wanted it. But I guess their writing was not very good. And so I get a call 2 days later. They're like, you're our baseball writer. I'm like, I declined this. I don't even want this. So it was very interesting trying to write about baseball because I don't know shit. Like the word mechanics, I didn't know that was a terminology or something that was used in baseball. How do you feel about Snead leaving? I don't think we play the Titans till 2025. Yeah, I don't know exactly when we play them. It's not this season. Listen, you can't keep everyone. I mentioned earlier, a lot of fan favorites have moved on for various reasons. Kareem Hunt, he got kicked off the team. Marcus Peters, they did not like his antics. Alex Smith, they were ready to move on to a different quarterback, and Patrick Mahomes, of course. Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz, they were injured. A lot of different reasons why we've moved on from certain players. but we're still winning championships. The biggest name, Tyreek Hill. The Chiefs have won a Super Bowl every year without Tyreek Hill. Think about that. All right, let me just start wrapping up here. Zamet LFG, I'm excited for that, man. Listen, I know he's never played the sport, but if you're playing a position like running back, if you can just teach him how to attack the open holes that are created by offensive linemen and rush blockers, I think he could really handle that position very well. I really do. I think that'd be very good. Matthew says, number of Super Bowl rings in the 2021 draft class. Kadarius Toney 2, Jamar Chase 0, Jalen Waddle 0, Devontae Smith 0. There you go. There you go, man. I mean, Kadarius Toney, I know his career is not going as well as he thought, but he's got 2 rings. Will Iowa women beat UConn tonight? I don't know. See, here's the thing. I know Caitlin Clark's like a big deal. I know nothing else about Iowa other than Caitlin Clark. But I know there are other like key contributors there. You don't just get there with one player. Now, UConn, I'll say yes to that question, but UConn, they have been wildly successful in men's and women's basketball. I think I saw like a little stat since 2000. There's only like a couple of seasons where UConn did not reach the Final Four in men's and or women's. I mean, that is a very successful athletics program you've got going on there in UConn. Good on them. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Appreciate all of you guys. We went a little more than an hour. And I always appreciate every time I do this on a Friday night, I'm like, no one's going to watch. And then a bunch of you guys show up. We always have great conversations. So, hey, I appreciate all of you guys. Much love to all of you. A very busy week, a lot of topics this week. And I appreciate all of the conversation, all the questions, all the comments, all that good stuff. Air horns for you guys. I have not hit that button in quite some time, so I had to do that. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your Friday night. Go do something fun. Stay safe. I will talk to you all later. Peace out.